Okay, so to recap, pages, 3 to 5 pages, how many drafts? Okay, so let's talk about that. So you're gonna turn in a rough draft, you're gonna get feedback, you're gonna meet with the coach, then you're gonna turn in another draft and you're gonna get more feedback. And if that's still not a passing essay, you have the rest of the semester to work on that. I can't keep grading things and giving them back to you. However, you can meet with the coaches. I would be more than happy to, set up like a Zoom session. We can go over it together, but I think I have like 200 something students and there's only one of me. So that's not going to work out. But just so you know, right, once the paper reaches me and I give it feedback, you will have the rest of the semester to revise and fix it. I wouldn't wait too long though, right? And we'll talk about, what you can do. You can make an appointment in the writing center. You could talk to me, you could talk to the coaches, but you will have a chance to revise. Okay. I think those are the basic one. How many paragraphs? I don't like to think in terms of paragraphs, right? But I'm thinking a 5-paragraph essay would be fine for this. But by the time that we get to the end of the semester, I don't want you to think in terms of that 5-paragraph essay, because that's what I was taught. I thought all my essays had to be 5 paragraphs, and it was hard to write a 10-page paper in 5 paragraphs. So I would have like 4-page paragraphs. So this prompt, right, there's not a lot of room for creativity. I basically lay out exactly what I want you to do, but by the end of the semester, you're gonna have a lot more freedom, okay? So with that said, and if questions come up, feel free to type them right in the box. I have all your questions here, but I want to start by reviewing the prompt. I'm gonna go over the prompt first, and then I'm going to turn it over to the coaches. Okay, so one more thing on that. So as far as a due date, I'm gonna put a due date for the final draft, but like I said, I don't want you to turn it in. So like if the due date's the 27th and you haven't met with the coach yet, you can turn it in later. Let's say you meet with the coach and the coach tells me, you know what, John really needs some more time to work on this paper. That's fine, right? I'm really flexible like that. I will grade the papers as I receive them, right? So it's not like we're gonna be in a classroom and I'm gonna walk in with a stack of 30 papers. So once that starts, once you guys start submitting drafts, it will be kind of like a fluid process, right? I'll be grading some, I'll be returning, and it'll go back and forth. Okay, but let's talk about the prompt. So let me share my screen here. Let's see. And I don't like talking in front of the camera. It just doesn't seem right, but we got to make do. Let's see. Okay. Let me share. I keep making the same rookie mistake. I have too many windows open.
Man,
I'm sorry.
Get that. You messing up too.
Yeah. All right. And, I've been sending a lot of messages, videos, right? I just want you guys to know, right? Because there were a few of you that said, I'm freaking out. I'm going to fail this class. I don't know what to do.
Doggone right.
Trust us, right? If you put in the work, right? If you stick with us, we are not going to let you fail. All right. Okay. So I added a few things. I really like this article. I don't know hopefully you
Where's
had,
my volume at?
oh, the volume's not loud enough? Why
Oh,
not?
I'm sorry.
Okay. You know, I thought this was kind of interesting. So I turned it into like a pen discussion. So you can share your thoughts. As I mentioned in the a discussion, I actually got to hear one of the authors speak, and he was saying a lot of the same things in this article, but I'm wasting your time. Okay. So let's just talk about the prompt, because I added some things in the prompt that I want you to go over. Where is it? Ah, here it is. All right. So here's my prompt. It says, below is the writing prompt for the first essay. Some of you might not even know what that word means. It just basically means, here are the directions. All right. Okay, so like I said, your first draft is due Sunday. I don't expect a complete draft, but I would like you to have 2 to 3 pages, even if it's a paragraph, right? I hope it's not a paragraph, but whatever you got, whatever you can finish between now and Sunday before midnight, I want you to post it, okay? All right. So the theme here is how ideas about intelligence in college impact student success, basically. All right. So here's the overview. In the first unit of the course, we have been discussing strategies for academic success and engaging with scholars whose work is intended to help teachers better understand the challenges students face. These scholars do research with students to identify beliefs that might have a negative impact on their performance, and they suggest ways teachers might help students think more productively. They believe that when teachers provide this kind of help, students are more likely to achieve their goals. All right, so what are these things that we've been reading about? Well, here they are. Rebecca Cox talks about the college fear factor. Carol Dweck talks about fixed mindsets. Frank Harris and Sean Harper talk about this male gender role conflict. And we have the film, right? That's part of this too. So for this assignment, I want you to select one of these concepts, either the fear factor, fixed mindsets, or the male gender role conflict. And you're going to write an essay that explains the following 3 points. And we're going to brainstorm these later. All right. The first point is, okay, what I'm about to tell you is that number 1 is going to be it should be the easiest thing you write in this paper. Why do you think? It says the belief and how it might negatively impact student success. Why might that be one of the easiest things to write? I want you to think about what you've been doing the last couple of weeks. Anybody want to take a guess on that in the chat? Why is that going to be probably the easiest thing that you're going to do in this essay? Nobody wants to take a guess? I thought it would be, okay, you guys, you already summarized it. You can literally copy and paste your summary. Obviously, you're going to tweak it, right? So the first paragraph, you have to explain what the college fear factor. You did that in a summary. If you choose to talk about the male gender role conflict, you did that in a summary. See? All of these things that I've been having you do are designed to help you, right? So I'm going to write an essay on a completely different article, right? So here's how you should approach this. I'm not saying that you need to have your whole summary there, but you need to have enough information. So this is the way I like to explain it. So let's say you're walking down the street and you have your paper, right? And for some reason, you know, you look one way and you drop that paper. Somebody picks it up and they start reading. They should be able to know what the college fear factor is, even though they've never read the article. Okay, so does that help? So that's why I had you guys write those summaries. you spent a lot of time, right? You spent a lot of time. You didn't spend a lot of time on this one, but you did come up with some golden lines, right? So again, if you choose to write about the college fear factor, you already know what it's about, right? You've already explained it. Now, this might not be part of your summary, or it might, right? So that might be something that you have to add, okay? The next point, and this is something that I want to brainstorm. So your next point could be another paragraph. Why is it important for students to replace that belief? Why is it important for students to just, forget about the college fear factor, right? Why is it important for them to not worry about that and to, right, think about something else? And your third point, now this could be one paragraph, but it says what? I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice, guys. The ideas and behaviors. Let's say you have a lot to talk about. Okay, I will make one paragraph about ideas, one paragraph about behaviors. That's entirely up to you. But for this paper, you can make it 5 paragraphs. Your introduction, paragraph 1, 2, 3, and your conclusion. All right. Are you with me so far? You good? All right. Okay. Here are the requirements. Clear, specific introduction. You're going to get a lot of that today. That addresses the prompt, summarizes your entire essay. A thesis statement. We'll talk about that. You can use the first person I. If you want to put yourself in this paper, you want to use yourself as an example. For this first paper, you can do that, okay? We already talked about the body paragraphs. You're going to use quotes though. How many quotes? I didn't give you a specific number, right? I want you, let's say 2, right? I want you to use at least 2 quotes. So if you're talking about the college fear factor, right, you should have 2 quotes. They might be from this article, but maybe there's something about fixed mindsets that you think kind of helps relate to that, right? So I want 2 examples from the article. How do you do that? Well, we'll talk about that. I'm sorry. You can also throw in some terms from that movie, right? Because now you should have a list of vocabulary words, okay? This stuff, works cited page, format, we'll worry about that later. All right, if you had a chance to scroll through, I talk about introductory paragraphs. I include a handout that I passed out to my students. Okay, I'm gonna show you that. I don't wanna take too much time away from the coaches, but this is basically just a list of ways that you can begin your paragraph. You wanna begin with a hook, right? I want Mr. Clanton, John, a professor, to want to read my paper. And of course, it's not loading, okay, but that's there. We'll go back to that later. I give you a rundown of an introductory paragraph. I explain what I want you to do, right, in your body paragraphs. And like I said, if you guys want me to write an essay, I've already started it. I will have that finished today, and I will label everything for you, okay? So again, I remind you, hopefully you can have 2 to 3 pages. If you have a paragraph, I don't care, submit it, right? Sometimes the hardest part is to get started, but once you start, it becomes easier. But I really want this by Sunday though, right? Because the coaches are gonna need some time to read through these because they're gonna be meeting with you, right? Now, as far as the draft, okay, when you submit your draft, somewhere in the comments, I want you to name 2 biggest things, right? What are your 2 biggest concerns that you want to have the coach look at, okay? They're gonna look at that, but they might see something that's, well, you know what? Scott wants me to look at a transition, but I don't see a thesis statement. So they're gonna make comments on that as well, okay? Again, you are going to tell us what you want us to look at, okay? So, and then you're gonna get your paper back with the feedback, You turn that in on Sunday, you're gonna get 25 points. Okay? So I'm gonna have to go get some water. That's a rundown of the prompt. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm losing my voice. Are there any, just let me check the chat real quick. Okay, there's a chat. Okay, can you see my message? It's your own presumption of the topic. Yeah, you choose the topic, but as you can see, I pretty much lay out what I want you to do in each paragraph. Right? But like I said, by the end of the semester, you're gonna have a lot more freedom. Okay, so I'm gonna get some water, and if not, I'm gonna lose my voice, and I'm gonna turn it over to one of the coaches, and they're going to talk a little bit about some of the questions that you have. So who wants to go first? Dallas or Yesenia?
I got it. I can do it.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm one of your academic coaches. I'm one of the newer ones because, I don't know, something happened and I replaced them. So that's why you might not know who I am. Okay, real quick question though. How many of you guys know MLA format? You guys can type it in the chat or a thumbs down.
Hold on. Let's try this out. I'm going to create a poll. Oh, never mind. That'll take too long. Just go ahead and do the thumbs up and thumbs down. Real quick, on a side note, I didn't know what the heck that was until I got to college. So
I was in the same boat.
It's okay if you don't know. We'll go through it and explain it to you guys.
Yeah, I'll just start my presentation because I made a PowerPoint and it goes through it. And so let me share screen. Okay, you guys can see that, right? I'm sure you guys can. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
The things I will be going over are MLA format, quoting in general, and my writing strategies, because I saw some of you guys wanted pre-writing strategies and all of that. Okay, quickly going through MLA. Oh, by the way, I put this in the coach corner. And so you guys, if you need to go see, if you want to go back and look at it, it's there. Okay, margins, usually this isn't that important because usually the document, or when you open it, it already has the 1 inch, and then the indent is just the tab button. But you have to make sure everything is double spaced, and to make sure to include, this doesn't necessarily have to be 1/2 inch, but just include the last name and the page number. And a quick note about the page number is make sure you have to click insert and then insert page number. Because if you put 1, all of your pages are gonna start with 1. And so it won't continue to the next page 1, 2, 3. As for your font, it needs to be legible. The font does not necessarily need to be Times New Roman, but it is the most recommended one to choose. For Clangton though, he seems to want Times New Roman, and for a reference note, some professors like different fonts. So it's always good to look at what they want in that essay or whatever you guys are doing. And so the regular font
sorry, Yesenia, I'm gonna interrupt. So what are some of the other fonts? Because
Oh, Arial, and there was this other one that I forgot about, but it's some professors just usually it's the Times New Roman, but sometimes there was they recommended a different font. I forgot what it was called, but I've had occasions where that happened.
Yeah, just don't do anything fancy and make the letters half the page. Oh, I'm gonna get my 4-page. You know what I mean? So yeah. Times New Roman, and don't worry about this. Some of you are what the heck are you talking about? All right, I'll show you. But I actually like I think it's called a Calibri.
Oh, Calibri, yeah.
I'll show you that in a minute. But again,
okay.
Don't worry about this now.
All right. Just make sure your size of your font is 12 point. And so avoid the little fancy curvy, right, fonts. Oh yeah, the page number, I've already kind of went through this, but it's the last name and the page number should count the pages. The heading should always, this MLA format always has the heading. It's in a specific order. The heading should include your name, the professor, the class, and the date. Note that every section gets its own lining, it's double space, and the date should be written in a specific order, being day, month, and year. And there's some examples right there on how that looks. The title should always be centered. It should not be bold or italicized for the most part. Italicizing and quoting. Book titles are italicized. Plays are italicized. Websites are italicized. Poem titles are in quotes. Article titles, which you guys are going to be using, are in quotation marks. And chapter titles are also in quotation marks. And I didn't include film here, but film, I think it's italicized as well. Let's see. And for signal phrases, this is part of the quotation sandwich thing, but it's just a quick note. Make sure to be descriptive with your signal phrases, because if you keep writing states and rights, it could get repetitive. And so that's why I included some here, but in the quotation sandwich handout that Clangton posted and where he just showed you, it's gonna include more, and here's some other ones. In-text citations. This is just about the author, because, well, the quotation sandwich, it'll go over this, but I feel like knowing how to state the author is also important, because one author, it's like he states, and then the quote, and their last name and the page number. And then in this version though, if you state the author's name in the sentence, it would just be page number. For in-text citations, if the author is unknown, usually you want to avoid articles where the author is unknown because it doesn't follow, well, the thing you guys are recommended to follow is like the CRAP test. But this, usually if you do really want to use it and you feel like it follows or it's credible, you would quote it at the end and you would make it shorter. Like the original title being the impact of global warming in North America, impact of global warming. If it's only two authors, you would usually just insert an and. So it's Best and Marcus with the page number. And then let's just say you put the author's claim, then it's like at the end of that quote, you'd put Best and Marcus in the page number. Okay, if it's three or more authors, this isn't, well, real quick note, I'm not sure if this applies to the current articles you have, but I don't think the three or more, but this is in the future. You can always just look back at it, or maybe for another class. Basically, at all, if it's three or more authors. But make sure when you're writing an essay to mention the authors, all the authors the first time. And then those are the examples of that. Oh, make sure when you're quoting though, because people tend to do this, but the period, they would leave the period here, like after a quote, like after the sentence. You usually don't want to include the period unless you're gonna like maybe state like two sentences and the period's in there. Yeah, you leave the period in there. But if you end with that sentence, you would take out that period and you would just include the period at the end. Okay, this is something people were asking about, the works cited page. The works cited page is typically at the end of your essay. The title is centered on the page and it's not bold or italicized. Make sure that the works are listed alphabetically by the author's last name. And here, another thing to note though, which is important, is that the works cited page is its own page, and the indent has like, it's different from the tab button. Yeah, you may have to like figure the how to do that, but you can always ask us later how to do that, because if you put the tab, it gets like, it's a whole different format. And how to cite the works cited page. There's also a site that you can use, Purdue OWL, and that one contains like how to do it. But I just put like the quick what's expected inside there. And another note to take notice of is that if you're using like an article from the database, they already have it cited there. You just have to look for that cited icon, and you can click, and then it shows all the citations in different formats like Chicago, etc. And then you can just copy paste that. But if it doesn't, there's also sites that help, like Bib. But if you want to do it by hand, it's like you would generally follow like these steps. You would look for that information and fill it in. Those are where I got the information and my writing strategies. Okay. When I first look at the prompts, I would annotate it, like get the information that is important and what is expected and what criteria does the professor want me to follow. Some essays are different than others. They may include a minimum of page numbers, word count, font, format, etc. It also helps to create a short list in your own words of what's required. One of the strategies I use is like free writing. It can take 15 to 30 minutes on each topic. If I'm unsure, there's multiple topics though, like multiple prompts you can pick out of. But this is to make sure, like, if I'm unsure which topic, I could pick which one I wrote more about, meaning I have like more of an idea what to write about. So I would pick the one I can connect with more. This doesn't have to be in complete sentences. You don't have to be grammatically or punctually correct. It could be one-letter words. It's just putting your ideas on paper to see which prompt is easier to write about. Okay, annotating a prompt. I had to separate it in sections, but this is your guys' prompt. And basically, usually I would print it out and then annotate it from there, but because this is PowerPoint, I just quickly did it here. So I highlighted the points he wants. It's going back here. Select one of the above concepts and write an academic essay that explains the following 3 points. So concepts, college fear factor, male gender roles, conflict, fixed mindset, and then the 3 points he wants us to talk about. And then going deeper, he wants a specific introduction, addresses the prompt and summarizes your entire essay, your thesis statement, that introduces the concept you will write about, the general statement explaining why it has a negative impact on student success. He says you're allowed to use first person I, so you can talk about your own experiences, topic sentences that explain the main idea, through paragraphs, apply concepts from the readings or a film, use the quotation sandwiches, explanation of key concepts from reading, one sentence summaries and longer summary in different places, basically of the articles, acknowledgement and citation, basically giving credit to the articles and the author, basically giving credit to the author. In-text and works cited page, so make sure to include the works cited page. Careful proofreading. Oh, here's the main thing, between 1,200 and 1,300 words, 4 to 5 pages. Well, he did say 3, so it's like 3 to 5 pages. But usually you want to keep it to like that word count. MLA format and Times New Roman 12-point font. And then this, the bottom, I can't, oh, there it is. Basically, just a quick note. Oh shoot. I scrolled. basically a quick note, 2 things to focus on this essay on the draft. He wants body paragraphs with quotation sandwiches, maybe an introductory paragraph with a good attention grabber or hook. And then I wrote a note that he created 2 videos. I put but I meant he. Okay, annotating prompt continue. Basically, you summarize it so you can look back at it, because I did highlight a lot of things so that can get confusing. So you would summarize it for yourself. So you can look at the main prompt if you need more info on something. So there I quickly summarized it. It says first pick a concept and how you plan to follow those 3 points. Intro with hook and thesis, basically the requirements of it. You can use I for your experiences, body paragraphs, and then I put topic, sentence, apply reading, and quotation sandwiches. Make sure to include article or film title, authors, name, summary of that sources, use main concept. And those are the main things he wants in there: the works cited page, the word count, MLA format, and Times New Roman. And then I made a little note to myself that it's due Sunday. And, well, not due, but the draft is due. This draft focuses on body paragraphs with quotation sandwiches, an intro paragraph with a hook and thesis at the end. There is videos, and then 2 to 3 pages. My second writing strategy is that I like to outline an essay. And basically, this helps with creating a flow, organizing your ideas, and knowing what you plan to write beforehand. This way you can easily stay on topic without accidentally getting off topic, which can happen if you get easily distracted. This way also helps with not forgetting ideas you may have had in the moment. Okay, here's an example of it. Basically, the intro is what I want to do with the intro, so you just write what you want to do. Basically, if you don't have any ideas, you can skip for later. And your thesis is usually the first thing done in the paper after you determine what points you want to talk about. Think about if you want a closed thesis or an open thesis. Closed is more focused with the 4 points you want to talk about. Open is easier to include more points. Paragraph 1, basically this is how the outline would look, but you would slowly you would redo it at least 3 or 4 times depending on how many paragraphs you have written and how many main points you include. So it'd be you'd write your main idea, then you have your topic sentence. Basically that would include the main idea of that paragraph. Supporting details your supporting detail 1 could be explaining more depth about the main point. A complete sentence you may have had or maybe just an idea. A supporting quote or from the book, an article, explaining the quote and why it's important, why does it matter, how does it connect to the main point, etc. This is basically a strategy I use for myself. It's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. So some of these won't apply, but it helps give ideas in depth and it helps brainstorm. An experience, or you can talk about an experience and story you think will connect to the point. If you still have any more ideas, you can just keep adding more points and quotes, or a page you want to paraphrase, etc. And then lastly, you'd have the conclusion sentence. It doesn't have to be all of these. This is just ideas of things you can do. And then this would be the same for 2, 3, and 4th paragraph, maybe 5. As for language, I saw some people had concerns about language. Again, I don't feel like you don't really need to have this concern about having college level. It's good to use practical language, because language is something it's something you develop over time through your courses, practices, and readings. And basically, the thing about using synonyms is that you don't know the word's exact meaning, kind of. It can be similar but different, meaning it can be used wrong, which is something I've done before in my essays to sound smarter. So it's good to use practical language. I'm not saying it's bad to search for synonyms. I'm just saying make sure you understand the word's meaning correctly. And that's it. That's the end of it. Let me stop sharing. Do you guys have any questions on anything?
Oh, I just wanted to add to that last point that you had, Jasenia. So I have this textbook that I'm using for my English 1D class, and it has like this whole chapter dedicated to word choice. So I was thinking that I could probably scan some of it and post it on there as like an additional resource in case you guys want to read more about that. You're interested on maybe expanding your vocabulary. I think that it would be helpful.
That's good. Yesenia, so will this PowerPoint be posted?
Oh yeah, I already posted it.
Okay, good. Because they're gonna need to memorize that for the quiz tomorrow. Just kidding. No, that's something, yeah, no, we don't expect you to memorize all that, but it's gonna be there for you. And if there is a question that's Yesenia went over, right? She's the one that presented it. So maybe you can send her a message, right? Or maybe during your Zoom hour, you can talk about, what'd you mean on the slide when you said this, okay? But for this essay, like I said, and I'm gonna show you again, I pretty much laid it out plain and simple for you. For some people that's hard, but I felt like I wanted to kind of give you as much guidance as possible. Okay, thank you so much, Yesenia. Now we'll turn it over to Odalis.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to share my screen. Hopefully this works. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right. So I saw that a lot of your questions were about the introductory paragraph and mainly the thesis statement. So I think I'm going to be going over that briefly. This is also a PowerPoint that you guys have available to you. It's under Coach Elidia's cool stuff on the Coach's Corner. So this is something that we had worked on together as a workshop a couple of semesters ago, and I think that it's really, really useful. Okay, so it's called Essay Structure Made Easy. And first, what is an essay? An essay is a collection of paragraphs that are all focused on one main idea. So normally when you're writing a paper, you want to focus on what's in your prompt so that you're not all over the place. Okay, so the main idea might be complex, so each paragraph can be focused on different parts of that idea. And they should all trace back to one main point or concept, so that would be your thesis statement. And the way that I like to think about an essay is under this structure right here. So you have an introduction, your body paragraphs, and then your conclusion. Okay, so for the intro, I normally like to think about it as like an inverse triangle. So if you think about the shape of an inverse triangle, it's like really big from the top and it gets really small from the bottom. And this is also called the funnel method. So at first you want to start with your attention getter, your hook or your broad statement. So this is what catches basically your reader's attention. And then you want to have some supporting ideas after that and your thesis statement. So your thesis statement is basically a sentence or two that is very specific and it's gonna guide your reader through your entire paper basically. So I'm gonna be going over your hooks. Introductions can begin with interesting details that are related to your topic. This is called a hook. So hooks are opening statements, which usually help your audience decide whether they want to read your paper or not. So I like to think about my personal experiences, and whenever I want to read an article or something, you know how they have those main headers, and that way you kind of get like a brief understanding of what that article is going to be about, and you decide whether you want to read it or not, right? So your goal for an essay is to want to keep your readers interested, to want people to read it, right? So that's what your hook is for. You want to engage your audience. Okay. There are several forms of hooks. You could use a question, a quote, an interesting fact, an anecdote like a story. The purpose of the hook is to make your readers curious about what you have to say so that they will continue reading. So there's some little images there. And then background information. Background information is the information required in order for the reader to understand the overall topic of your essay. It usually begins shortly after the hook, and some examples of that could be like details and just like general examples. And then you always want to write with the mindset that your reader has no idea what you're talking about, so you want to be specific enough so that they understand. Okay, and this is just pieces from a student sample essay. So the thesis statement is on the top. It's this pink portion right here, and the background information is over here. So you can look back at that. Okay, so here's your thesis statement. This is probably one of the most important pieces of your essay, because if you don't have a strong thesis statement, then your paper kind of loses direction. So this is usually the last sentence in your introductory paragraph, and it should be very, very specific. Think about your thesis as a roadmap for your entire essay. It is your overall main point. So think about when you're reading something and you get distracted while you're reading it, right? And then you're like, what did I just read? Well, basically in your essay, your thesis statement works as something that you could go back to and then kind of identify what the points that were being covered in the entire thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's what you're being asked to prove, show, or explain. And it usually is summarized in a sentence or two, but it can be longer. And then there's a sample of a weak thesis statement here. This could be also a working thesis statement. So you could start off with something like this, but then expand on it. So there are many great things about attending college. So I would add reasons to this, because it's like you're trying to prove something, but you're not giving any reasons. So essentially, if you were making an argumentative essay, this wouldn't make that much sense because you don't have anything to back up what you're saying. So this is more of a stronger thesis statement. Although some argue that attending college is not necessary, there are countless benefits to receiving a higher level education. Receiving a college degree can facilitate the process to finding sustainable employment, increase the likelihood of receiving retirement benefits, and aid with personal development. So I have a few reasons there, and if I were to write this essay, then I could focus some of my paragraphs on these main points.
I was just going to interrupt and say that I'm going to go over a strategy called the Sheridan Baker, but now I don't have to because Odalis just did it. Though that thesis statement that she just showed, maybe not for this essay, but that's the kind of thesis statement that I love, right? The ones that I hate are this. In this paper, I'm going to write about the student fear factor. Okay, right? So what? What point are you going to make, right? So your thesis is like the main point, as they were saying, that the rest of the paper is going to prove. And we'll talk more about that. But I love this thesis statements. Cool. So
okay, so this is, you're welcome. So this is here as an example for you. I also included some links to more information about thesis statements because I know that it could be a little bit difficult for students to kind of get through that. That's one of the hardest things. But I think that you shouldn't worry about it too much. As long as you have a working thesis statement, you can go back and always add to it or tweak it, you know? It's not something that's set in stone. So, okay, this is a sample of your introductory paragraph. So there's a hook right here, and this person decided to use a question. So that's something that you could do. So do you use social media apps or YouTube? So I feel like the majority of students or people in general nowadays use social media or YouTube. So that would engage me, right? That's a good hook. And then there's more context here. So this is the background information. Talks about entertainment in general, so like online. Ooh, sorry. And then the thesis statement here is the most specific part. So the use of technology and screen time can be positive for children as it allows children to excel academically by experiencing the expanding definitions of classroom and literacy as a whole, improves low-performing developmental skills, and can supplement in-class education for more academically advanced students. So usually there's like 3 backup points, and those are the ones that people focus on their body paragraphs. So that's what you want to keep in mind when you're forming your thesis statement. Okay, and there's just more information here about body paragraphs. This is a really long PowerPoint, so it's always going to be accessible to you. I was just going to focus on the intro mainly for the sake of time. So if you guys have any questions about that, please let me know. I'm going to try to show you guys the other resources that I put on here. Are you guys still able to see my screen? Yeah, okay. So I opened this up. I was working on it last night. I found some videos about the writing process. So if you're a little bit confused on how to get started, I would recommend watching these. They're really short. I try to find short videos because I know it's hard to make time for all your classes. So if you have a chance to watch these. And there's also some pre-writing strategies here in case you want to pick up on new ones. Mine are very similar to Yesenia's. I kind of just free write at first, and then after I'm free writing, I get my highlighter and I highlight the most important parts of, or the stronger points that I think that I have, and then I go back and put those into an outline. I like to look for outlines online. Sometimes they have sample ones there, or you can make your own. And then, okay, there's more information about thesis statements here. This is from OWL Purdue, and you could just click the link and it will open this up. So in case you're still lost, it has like explanations here and it gives you examples. And then there's also this link right here that has an activity.
We're not seeing any of that. All we see is the PowerPoint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to like stop sharing and reshare, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I had it happen to me yesterday.
Okay.
Except nobody told me, so I talked for 20 minutes and they're like, these were teachers. They're like, we couldn't see any of that. Okay. But I want to save some time for the brainstorm. So just show them those resources.
Yeah, you can just go here on the Coach's Corner and click on the one that has my name. And there's the videos right here. Are you able to see it now?
Yeah.
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 And then if you click on this link right here, it'll open up this tab. And it goes through this activity. And you can start identifying thesis statements and which ones you think are the strongest. So this will help you work on your own, I think. And then if you need more information, you can go back here and click on that.
Okay. Cool. So we got a lot of stuff for you. Am I muted? Okay.
No, we can hear you. All right. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Okay. Real quick, it reminds me, I'm going to say a cuss word, but I want to have you guys read something by Anne Lamott. It's called Shitty First Drafts. It's about the importance of writing a crappy first paper. I'm gonna make a statement, and I bet you it's true for the most part. Too many times, I know students are writing. I saw my son do this. He's writing his paper on his phone like an hour before it's due. I'm like, you wonder why you got a bad grade? So, but that's okay. The first draft can be, I'm gonna say it one more time, shitty, right? Because we're going to revise. All right, but thank you so much for sharing that. With this paper though, I wanna simplify it, okay? What do I wanna show? Let's go back to the class. Okay. All right. Your thesis, right? Where did I say it? Explaining, right? The thesis statement that introduces the concept, right? So your thesis statement should have one of these 3 words in it and explains why it's bad. So for example, the paper that I'm working on, and if you want me to finish it, I will today. Where's my outline? Here's my working thesis. Do you guys see that? No, I gotta, oh, shoot, sorry. I feel like an idiot sometimes when I do this. Okay, do you guys see my thesis? Here's my working thesis. My paper is gonna be about grit. The idea of grit can have a negative impact on student success because it can give them a false sense of confidence, right? My first one, the belief and how, so what is grit? Well, like I said earlier, I'm gonna just put my summary there and explain why it's bad, right? And then my thesis here will come at the bottom. This is good if you don't wanna mess with your introduction. If you're freaking out about the intro, don't worry about it, do it last. Second point, why is it important for students to replace that belief with more productive thinking, right? I'm gonna add some things. Final point, what ideas and behaviors would be more likely to contribute to academic success? Okay, show of hands. Let's see, stop share. Show of hands. I wanna know how many people plan on writing about the fear factor.
Still deciding.
Okay, we gotta choose one. Okay, how about masculinities? I saw masculinities. Okay, all right. I want to give you guys some ideas. It's almost 12. I want to, I said it would last an hour. I'll stay as long as you want. This is my job. I don't want to leave until you guys feel comfortable, but I want to do at least give you some ideas here. Oh, where's it at, John? I'm gonna get out of this. Where's my Padlet? All right. You know what? Let's just do the fear factor first. Student fear factor. Here's your first point. This is from the prompt. What is it? You've already done that. You've written the summary, right? Why do students need to replace this feeling, right? That's point 2. What ideas and okay, so let's start here. I'm not gonna do the what is it because that's the summary. Now, why is it bad? What do you guys think? Type it up. Why, how does this student fear factor, how does it have a negative effect on students? Let's see, chat. Can you guys see the Padlet that says the student fear factor yet?
Yeah.
Okay. That wasn't a rhetorical question. Talk to me. How does the student fear factor have a negative effect on students? Well, okay, I got one. Well, they feel like they aren't college material. There's one, right? Let's brainstorm. How else does it affect? Coaches, you can chime in too.
How does it affect students?
You know what? Let's stop. I'm not going to write it down, but let's maybe I jumped the gun. What is the student fear factor? You all wrote some really good 10 to 12 sentences on a Padlet. Okay, good. Stops students from reaching their potential. All right.
Imposter syndrome.
I'm sorry, what was that, Odalis?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. That's what I suffer from.
Me too.
The imposter syndrome is that feeling like you don't, whenever I'm around my colleagues and I hear them talk, I feel like, I mean, honestly, why did you guys hire me? I can't talk like you. Some of my colleagues, I had to have a dictionary out. I said, what? What are you talking about? Right? So, you know, sometimes I feel like insecure, but yeah, the imposter syndrome. Okay, and I spelt that wrong, I'm sorry. So do you see what we're doing here? Got any others? So, you know, just to recap, the student fear factor is, it's, I don't know. How do we describe it? It's the idea, right, that no matter how students feel like they are prepared, there are factors, right, that have negative consequences. I mean, something like that, right? So we talk about it. But again, I would go back to your summary. So then that first paragraph, right? Let's go back to the prompt. That first paragraph, the belief and how it might negative impact. Okay, well, you know, you're going to talk about some of those. So do you guys still see the Padlet?
Yeah.
All right, there's your first paragraph. Okay, second point. All right, let's brainstorm some ideas. Why do students need to replace this feeling? Because those that didn't drop out actually realized that they could do it. Remember at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why do students need to replace this feeling? Let's see what else. What's another reason? Okay, so then I might, for this point, I might choose one of those quotes. I can't remember, there's that Spanish quote. Remember that one guy, it translates out of something bad, something good. You know, I might use that. Or I would talk, I would quote, I would quote one of the students.
Una cara, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but actually, even better, I would quote one of those students that said, yeah, you know what, I realized it wasn't that bad. Okay, I mean, this is obvious. Why do they, right? Because, I mean, students aren't reaching their potential. All right, there's some more ideas. We can go on and on. I'm gonna send this to you so we can add to it. Okay, third paragraph, right? Like I said, maybe we like this one so much, maybe we're gonna split this up into two, but let's just make it one. What ideas and behaviors would be more likely to contribute to academic success? I got an idea. Get rid, I'm gonna use a term from the thing, get rid of those pompous ass teachers, right? All right, I would have a class that prepares students for the college lifestyle. We do have these, but not enough. Show them, right? Show them where the library is. Show them the financial aid. Show them this. Show them that. Right? Give them study habits. Okay. So do you see what we've done here? Honestly, we could probably write this paper in about a half hour. All right. You guys want to keep going? Do you want to do another one for the masculinities?
Mm-hmm.
if you want to stay, I'll stay because I have some more things I'd like to show you. All right. Okay, so let's do it with masculinities. I'm just going to abbreviate masculinities. Okay. Again, the first point you're getting in that first body paragraph after you have your hook, you're going to explain what is it. You summarized it. I summarized it somewhere, right? What is it? Let's see. Darn it. Am I going to have to go back and reread that? No, that's right. He made me summarize it. So I'm gonna pull mine up here in a minute, and I'm gonna reshare. I posted it in an announcement. You know, I'm not quite sure. Boy, I'm sure glad I chunked that and wrote a summary. Now I don't have to reread it. Can you guys see my summary?
Yes.
Okay, I put this here for you so you can check it. Don't cheat. If you haven't done it yet, don't use mine. Okay, all right. It's the male gender role conflict is prohibiting many young males from reaching academic potential. Male gender codes are instilled in males at a young age by both their fathers and peers. The codes are reinforced. Then it talks about how these codes, they conflict with the successful habits that you must use and live by on the college environment. Okay, so I refreshed my memory. Maybe I want to copy and paste it. You know, maybe I'll just copy and paste it and make that my first paragraph and just kind of change it up a little, right? But yeah, that first part is done. Wow, okay, let's go on to the, let's stop share. Let's go back to the Padlet. Where's my Padlet? Oh, man. I hope I'm not boring you guys.
No,
Okay.
not a,
All right. So this is fun for me.
me
Alright.
too.
I'm excited. I'm excited because you guys are gonna have ideas. Okay, so masculinities, I'm just gonna abbreviate. The male gender role conflict causes young males, they didn't just talk about black, right? They used a white guy and Asian guy. Causes young males to have trouble adapting to college life. Why? Because they talked about how in college you need to ask questions, you need to join clubs, right? But these young men have been taught that school is like a feminine thing. I mean, I remember 6th grade. You don't want to be smart. They'd be like, oh, you're a schoolboy. I don't want to be a schoolboy, right? So they get to college and they have all this pressure. Now, I don't know if I agree with all that, but that's why I wanted to talk about that. But I don't want to lose focus here. Okay. So that's what we would talk about in the first paragraph. Boom, we got it. Okay. Why am I not connecting? Shoot. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'll do it later, sorry. Okay, all right, let's do this one. Why do students need to replace this feeling? Why do students need to let go of that masculine, those male gender norms that they've been led to believe? Why do they need to lose those? Somebody give me one. I'll check the chat. I got one. They talk about, there's a key quote that I would use in here, their authentic selves are in conflict with the selves that they portray. So when I chunked that and talked to the text, I said, okay. So it's like many of these young men want to do well in school. They want to be a part of this, but they're afraid right, that they're going to be scrutinized. They're going to be made fun of. Like the young, I think he was referred to as the young Latino kid, right, who was doing his duty. His father got sick. I got to be the breadwinner. I'm going to go to the community college. I'm going to get a certificate and get a job. And they're like, nah, man, you got to go work, right? So I would, one of my points that I would talk about would be many of these young males do well in school, like that one boy, but drop out because of the pressure to hold on to that male, I'm gonna put stereotype, okay? So do you see what I'm doing here? These are the points that you could talk about in your paper. What about here? What ideas and behaviors okay, so what can we do to change that? How can we get these young men to say, you know what? Don't worry about being competitive. Don't worry about being the strongest here, right? I want you to go read some poetry. I want you to use words to change the world. Inability to express their feelings. I like that. That's here, right?
Yes.
There's another one. There's quotes in there, but back to this one. Okay. What should we do? I'll give you an example. The article says what? I think this is important. The article says we need more, how do I paste? Role models, right? Bottom line, we don't have one black male as an English professor. So I'm gonna start trying to recruit people, right? More male role models. That's what the authors suggest. All right. What else do you think? I don't know. You know what I'm spelling? Role models. You guys are a quiet group, but that's okay. You're just soaking it all in, right? Do you have any other ideas?
Maybe parents, or is this me? Oh, maybe parents should support their children more for academic success instead of using the stereotypes.
Right.
Like
Good, yeah. Or how about this? I love sports. I love the NBA. I love football. I think we need to look, rather than say, what does LeBron James have to say? Why don't we let the poets say what we have to say, right? And they're out there. When we're finished today, go on YouTube, search spoken word poets, about words are powerful. So I think we need to, and I think it starts at the high school. We need to do something to have, again, I love sports, but I want young males to want to be philosophers. I want them to study language. I want them to write the next great novel, because as a book has the power to change the world in good ways and in bad ways. Okay, good. Mentorship. I love that. Okay, so I hope you see what we did here. Your essay, or there is an essay on this page right here. You just got to fill in, right? This is the skeleton. You know what I would use for a hook here to really grab my attention? Now I'm probably going to have like 25 of these. I would, that one article that says if you go to school, you're a sissy or a pussy. That would be my hook, right? Because that would be, whoa, that would grab my attention, right? Because that's important, right? I don't want to be called that. I don't want to get an A on my science test because they're going to say, you're a sissy, right? Okay. So again, I'm going to send this to you. You can add to it. Couple more things I want to show you. we were in a class, we would be doing this on separate days, but we can't do that. Let's see, let's go back, share screen. Okay. Gosh darn it. Oh, shoot, I can't get out of this. Okay. Again, before you turn in your draft, I want you to have at least one paragraph, and we're going to do a little grammar activity. It's called Just in Time. What I want you to do is you're going to read through this packet right up to page 8. I explain 2 common sentence errors, run-ons and comma splices. All right. So you're going to read through that. You don't have to do these exercises unless you want to, but just read through it. When you get to this page 8 here, stop. Then you're going to watch this video. Oh, shoot. What happened? Then you're going to watch the video that tells you how to edit for comma splices and run-ons, and you're going to choose one paragraph, and you're going to do that, and then you're going to post that paragraph as an assignment. And either myself or Dallas or Yesenia are going to check it, right? Just for those comma splices and run-ons. Research shows I can give you all the grammar worksheets in the world and you would get A+ on them. But when you write your papers, comma splices, run-ons. It only works when you try to do it in your own writing. Okay, so that's the thing that I want you to do before you submit the draft. Let's see, are there any other questions? I feel like there was something else I wanted to add. Well, let me ask you this. Do you want me to finish my paper and label it and post it for you guys? I would be happy to do that.
Yes, please.
Okay. So sometime tonight I will break it down. I'll explain what I did, okay?
You.
So are you feeling better? I mean, do you feel like you kind of have a sense of a direction? Again, Rome wasn't built in a day. If everybody turned in a paper and got 100%, then you wouldn't even need to be in this class. It's a process. So is there anything else you want us to cover? We are going to cover everything. I just don't want to go too much, right? I don't want you guys to feel, like you have mental overload. I'm going to say it one more time though, because I'm not hearing anything, and then we'll call it stop share. Oh, there's a chat. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just asking you, just trust me. Right? Trust me on this one. You guys are going to be fine. This is going to be fun. Shoot. I'm just horrible at this. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, let me go back to that, stop share. Oh, this is gonna look horrible when I watch it on the playback. They're gonna be like, man, look at him. He's all trying to figure stuff out. Okay, so there's the positive phrases. I added the coach's corner, right? I want you to choose one thing from the coach's corner, try it out. It could be a relaxation, something, right? Try it out and talk about it, right? Sunday, before you submit your draft, choose one paragraph, follow my steps, and edit it for run-ons and comma splices. This is another one of my beliefs. I firmly believe that if students want to quit writing fragments and comma splices and get better at grammar, they can, okay? Got to have that growth mindset. So again, just to recap, Your thesis for this one, you can use one of those models that the coaches showed. They're great. I'm going to go back to that PowerPoint, but all I want you to do is say, right, something like, fixed mindsets are can cause some of the brightest students to not reach their potential, something like that, right? It's a draft. We can fix it later, but that's all you got to do. And then your 3 points, just like we did on the Padlet. Your first point, the belief. What is it? You know what it is. You wrote a summary, right? So you could use some of that summary and why it's bad. Next paragraph, why is it important, right? Why should students change from a fixed to a growth mindset? Pretty easy. We've already talked about things. You can use that. Finally, what ideas and behaviors would be more likely to contribute, right? You talked about mentorships, right? The gender role conflict. I would, right, from an early age, I would, I want more breath, right? I wish my parents would have told me about music and stuff, right? To me, it was all sports. That's all I did was play baseball and basketball, right? But there's other things. What can we do to get rid of the fear factor? Well, we can, right? We can create bridge programs. We can, have, how about this? More counselors available, right? It's so hard to get an appointment. So that's basically it, okay? And then for now, we are going to talk about conclusions later on. I'm gonna add to this prompt. I'll put a little something here about what I want you to do for the conclusion, but you're gonna have lots of strategies, okay? Any questions? I know I've gone way over, I apologize. Okay, there's a question. All right, yeah, feel free to contact me. Again, if you wanna meet with me, I'm pretty much here all day. Say, John, are you free tomorrow from 12:15 to 12:30? I probably am. We can set up a Zoom appointment. We can go over it again. But just keep in mind that once you turn in your draft, the coaches are going to be looking at them. And sometime within the next 2 weeks, you will be meeting right with a coach or myself one-on-one to give you some really, some more feedback. So, okay, now we know where you're going. This is what you need to do, okay? So you're never going to turn in paper and get back a grade and I have to live with it, right? There's always going to be a chance to fix it. So I hope that helps to sort of alleviate some of the stress, okay? But other than that, I think that's about it for this meeting. I will post this if you want to go back. We covered a lot and, but maybe we can do it again soon, maybe next week, right? I'll leave that up to you. But before I end this, does anybody have any final questions or thoughts or comments about the class, assignments? No? Okay, well, if you do, text me, send me an email. All right, I'll get back to you. Okay. Thank you. Again, the rest of the week, do that, the Coach's Corner discussion. As you start writing your essay, before you turn it in, choose one paragraph to edit, and then you're going to turn in your final draft. Okay, here's one quick question. For the overread for a paragraph from our draft, we're supposed to... No, you don't have to do any voice. I just want you to read it aloud, right? You are going to read it aloud, right? But I want you have to, excuse me, you have to pay attention to the video. No, you don't have to record yourself, but I promise you, the best way to find mistakes in your paper is to read it aloud. Because if there's not a comma, right, where there should be, it might sound like this. Explanation of key concepts from the reading. You can also use the film The Mask You Live In. You will need a one-sentence summary, a longer summary, in different places, right? It's like, whoa, wait. I got to stop somewhere. I must have a run on, okay? That's going to help. So I explain all that. You don't have to record yourself. Read it aloud, submit it, and we will look at it. Okay? All right, so yeah. Thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate, I would have much rather been in a face-to-face class, but I mean, you know, we're gonna make the best of it. Okay? And sometime today, I'm gonna post that essay for you. All right, so I guess we'll end the meeting. Coaches, if you wouldn't mind kind of hanging out for just a few. Gosh, I have to do this again. My voice is gone.
Are you sick?
No, I don't know what happened. No, I feel fine. Okay. I was trying to sing yesterday and play guitar, so that's what I overdid it, but okay. Is it just us now?
Yes.
I'm sorry that it went over, but
No, don't worry.
I thought it went well. Okay, okay, so our next thing that we have to think about is, all right, how are we going to do these one-on-ones? There's a couple of ways. We can do it through Sarah's group. If you want me there, I can, you know, be there as like a facilitator. I could talk to the students while they wait for you, but I guess we just need to decide on times, and then we need to divide those papers up. But we're not going to do that until Sunday because, you know, because they're not going to submit. So do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I think what works best for the students, you know, because we don't know what their schedules really look like, but it looks like mornings are better for them, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm fine with
Well, I think
just meeting up with them through like Sierra, if that's less complicated for you.
Well, you just give me some times, and then I'll have students sign up. I mean, you may want to devote like 2 hours in one day. You may want to do like a little bit every day, and then I will just do like if somebody has to do weekends or something, you know, I'll do that. I don't care.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So how many hours do you think you guys can do this? I'm hoping for like 10-minute blocks, right? So you'll have plenty of time to read through like the 8. How many is it going to be? Maybe 10 papers. Okay, because I'll do 10. All right. So you'll have, you know, 2, 3, 4 days or whatever to really hone in on what you want to talk about. And I was thinking 10 minutes, but do you think that's enough time? Or should we go for 15?
I think that it would be if we get their papers ahead of time, which we are, because the way I'm going to go about it is I'll read through their papers and then I'll make like kind of like annotations and make notes of what I really want to discuss. That's most important. And then like leave time for them to ask questions.
Good.
So I don't want to be the only one talking.
Okay.
I want them to have the opportunity to ask. Yeah.
And I hope they do that because they're not going to have that paper. But, you know, okay, these are the 2 things that I want you to look at, right? I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but it doesn't matter. They'll get feedback. So I guess, you know, sometime, I guess by Sunday, maybe by Sunday, find out how much time you can do this, right? Because I don't know, like with your other work or whatever, and then just give me the times that you want, and I'll say, okay, you know, I mean, I'm sure we'll have enough students to fill your spots, and then I'll just do the rest. And, you know, I think it would be better like if I was there. So like, let's say, you know, you wanted to do Tuesday from 12 to 12:30. Let's say you had like, I don't know, 2 or 3 appointments. I'll be there, and then I'll just assign students, you know, to your breakout room, and then I can be helping them too, right?
Okay.
Okay. Because I know some people are like, oh, I just make my coaches co-host. I don't. No, that's not good. I have no problem doing that. All right.
Okay.
So yeah. So I guess for the rest of the week, maybe check in on their discussions. If they start posting that paragraph, look and make sure that there's no comma splices or run-ons. That's all we're going to focus on for that.
Okay.
Gosh, my voice. When you're ready, just go ahead and give me the blocks of times and I will have students sign up. I'm thinking maybe, when do you think we could start? Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
How many days do you think you want? You want
I
3
could-
days? Want to start
Yeah, I
Thursday?
could do for 3 days.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so after they turn them in, we'll have them sign up. Hopefully they all sign up Monday, and then you will know exactly which, I'm thinking maybe 10 papers you're going to focus on, and then yeah, you can go to work. And if it doesn't work, yeah, we'll change it. That's what this
Yeah,
semester.
I feel like a trial and error kind of thing.
It's funny because I praise you guys so much, and I said this semester I'm just throwing stuff against the wall. If it works, good. If not, because we were all talking about. I feel like I have writer's block. There's been days when I've sat in front of my computer for an hour thinking, how am I gonna teach them how to write a hook, right? I want them in front of me. It's just weird.
That's why I was searching for videos yesterday. Videos and so they can get kind of a visual, because I think that sometimes they get tired of just reading stuff. So I don't know. I try to find animated ones and activities. I'm still searching for good activities, maybe some worksheets that they can do. But it is kind of complicated trying to teach them everything virtually.
I think that's great. That's why